think the reason why I thought coming into this video why Jordan was so feared was just because of his demeanor. Even just watching some Jordan interviews or watching the documentary, this guy had a no F's given type of demeanor. It doesn't matter who you were, he was the best player in the league. Why every player feared Micael Jordan. Without wasting any more time, guys, let's get straight into it.
Now, LeBron is universally respected and revered. MJ was feared. You know the difference.
The statute of limitations up, I was terrified out there.
Were you really?
Yeah.
You was scared of MJ?
Yeah.
For how long? Right when you took the floor?
No, the whole game.
The one thing that I think that he was unlike any other player I've ever played against is that there was a real fear playing against him. Like people, I've never seen.
I'll let the video continue, of course, but just the reason why I'm making this video in the first place is because there's always this talk about, yeah, LeBron is a great player, but as good as LeBron is, he's never been feared. He's never been feared as much as Jordan was when Jordan was at the peak of his power. So we're gonna try and understand a bit more in this video, because if I was playing in the NBA, if I knew that I was gonna go up against LeBron James, I would be extremely scared. And not to say that players aren't scared of LeBron per se, but just the fear they had for Micael Jordan. Even ex-players like Steve Nash here and Shaq just seconds ago, the way they feared Jordan, even just talking about him now, to me is insane. So hopefully in this video we can understand a bit more why.
Like the league be kind of fearful of a player.
Kobe, not saying that you had to switch it up, but I didn't have that fear.
There you go. Even Kobe. Even Kobe.
You know, you better bring the game.
As I said, even if I was going up against LeBron, I'd be scared. If I was going up against Kobe, I'd be scared. So for ex-players, even to say, yeah, you know, going up against Kobe was you know, a big deal, but going up against Jordan was massively scarier. We're going to try and understand why today.
Oh, I mean, we was just all scared of Jordan. So I mean, that you know, when you show me against him, yeah, I get a little hot. His regular season average against the Pistons was 37.5.
That's insane.
And then some nights he would get hot. Q.
People were afraid of him. We were his teammates and we were afraid of him, and there was just fear.
Catch the ball when I throw it to you. I just threw it to you.
I'm tackling an interesting topic that has more to do with the
Even his own teammates were terrified of him. What's going on? Even his own teammates couldn't stand him. That is insane.
psychological side of basketball and less about the stats and the X's and O's.
Okay.
The quote, fear of Micael Jordan. You hear players from his era talk about it, you hear his fans brag about it, and you hear the NBA media preach about it. But what exactly is behind it? Why do so many people claim that they feared Micael Jordan as if he was going to cause them some sort of physical harm? After all he truly was just a basketball player.
That's the thing. It's not he was a basketball player. He was a great player. So it's just in like, from a logic sense of view, you should be also scared. If they said, oh, we fear great players like a Kobe or LeBron or Jordan, I understand. But it's the fact that they fear Jordan so much more. Like, I know there's stories of Jordan punching his teammates during practice. There's stories of Kobe not being the nicest teammates either. As much as I like those two, that's just the fact of the matter. Those guys weren't the best teammates to the guys in their teams. But even so, like, for other guys to fear you that much as well, I understand you might get 35 points scored on you, 60 points scored on you, but to be that scared of another individual is insane.
Well, I think the explanation involves a lot of surrounding context, but at the end of the day, the explanation isn't all that hard to understand once you understand that context.
Okay.
I've seen many younger fans
Let's get the context then.
Laugh at the idea that Jordan was feared. After all,
again, that's not me. I'm not laughing at it. I just don't understand why he was feared that much. I don't understand why he was feared that much. Me, especially me, is someone that didn't grow up in America, someone who got into basketball a bit later, when I was like 13, 15. That's when I really started following basketball. For early years of my life, it was just about football. So, you know, trying to understand these things takes some time. So this is why I'm making this video.
Several players stood up to him. For one, Reggie Miller fought him.
Yeah,
Parrish
there you go.
Him, and you could even argue that the Pistons bullied him. Michael Jordan was not
Earlier
a
on, yeah.
scary player in the sense that he would physically hurt you. If that was the case, then players like Ron Artest or Rick Mahorn would have all the stories about players fearing them. But you never hear that. In terms of his opponents, Michael was feared because of how he played when he was angry. There's a term in basketball
there you go.
that a mad player is a bad player, and this is usually a true statement, because when a player is mad, he's more prone to play recklessly and in a forceful manner. That will often result in playing with an emotional approach rather than a practical one. An angry player is more likely to ignore his training and force his will on the court.
This is a side, but this is why I love Lucas so much. It's like you have this player who's technically amazing, but who's not scared of any fight. This is why I like that series they had with the Suns, like going down or being down the way they were, and for Luka to come out and absolutely destroy them in Game 7. This is aside from the video, but I just have to say this: a video on Luka is gonna come soon as well. I love Luka, man.
Rather than responding to the opposition as is presented to him. This mad approach will usually result in more turnovers, more personal fouls, more technical fouls, and more missed shots. But for some reason, Michael Jordan was the exception to this rule. Not only was Michael not affected negatively during his anger, but it seemed to have the complete opposite effect, as he often appeared completely unstoppable when he was triggered or challenged. The examples of such are basically endless. When Jeff Van Gundy called Jordan a con man, MJ responded by dropping 51 points on his Knicks. When Reggie Miller started trash talking MJ, he dropped 40 points in the second half while shutting down Miller defensively. When Kevin
that's a fair point. So, but I already knew this. I already knew, like, if you annoyed Jordan or if you pushed him to a certain point, it's like that's they said in that documentary. It's like he just takes things personally. But that's been known for ages. I think that's not of an enough reason to why they feared Jordan, because that the same thing can be applied to so many players. So many players can be feared because when they're upset, they are more willing to drop more points on your team. The reason why I thought coming into this video why Jordan was so feared was just because of his demeanor. Even just watching some Jordan interviews or watching the documentary, this guy had a no F's given type of demeanor. It doesn't matter who you were, he was the best player in the league. He was gonna drop whatever he wanted on your team. Someone who averaged 30 points for his career. Just his whole demeanor, the way he exudes confidence. This is part of the reason why I also believe a lot of players also fit Kobe for that same reason. They were very similar in their mentality in that sense. Whereas a player like LeBron, as much as I like LeBron, LeBron is more of a, outside of the pitch, he's way more friendly. He's way more willing to interact with other players. Just look at the way LeBron interacts with his Instagram. LeBron is at times has even been called goofy. Just LeBron has this very carefree, friendly type of demeanor outside the pitch. Not to say that LeBron is a competitive, but at least from the outside looking in, the way LeBron portrays himself outside the pitch, he's a lot more friendly and a lot more willing to, hang around with other players, who was a guy like or Kobe or Jordan, who were mean to their own teammates. I thought that was the main reason why he was fit. I thought that was the main reason why. But I'll let him carry on.
Garnett got in his ear, MJ lit him up in the fourth quarter. When Magic Johnson told him that he better turn into Air Jordan if they were going to win that USA scrimmage, MJ completely took over. When he was eliminated by the Orlando Magic in 1995, and Nick Anderson said that 45 isn't 23, MJ came back the next season and swept them. When the media said that Clyde Drexler was the better three-point shooter.
Swept them is crazy, bro. Swept them is crazy. Why would you say that? Why would you say 45 is not 23? It's just unprovoked. You won. You're already going through. They're staying behind. You have a chance now to go on and win the championship. It's like the thing Booker texted on his, or not texted, that he posted on his story about Doncic, about Luka time, and then we all know what happened in Game 7. It's like you're the other guy's unprovoked, unprompted, and you go out of your way to piss them off. There's no need to do that. That's just dumb. That's just purely dumb. If I was a coach, I would get so mad at that. You've got this great player on the other team. Just shut your mouth and play the game. If we win, better. If we don't, it's part of the game also. Just be quiet and play the game.
Shooter, Micael Jordan broke 3-point records against Clyde Drexler. When the league selected Karl Malone as the MVP over him, MJ responded by hitting the game-winning shot to defeat Karl Malone. When Dikembe Mutombo said that Jordan couldn't dunk on him, he proceeded to do just that. When someone said he couldn't dunk on someone bigger than Stockton, he proceeded to do just that. I could go on and on, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Micael Jordan almost always got the...
Fair enough. It's one of them ones where if you keep chatting, if you just keep chatting crap, like, he'll come for you. I get that, but again, to me, the main reason why, if I was a player going up against Jordan, why I'd be so scared of Jordan would be because of his demeanor. Like, this guy does not play around. A guy, you're going up against this team, and there's stories coming from his camp that he punched players on his own team. Bro, that would make me scared. If he doesn't care about, or if he's that harsh towards his own teammates, imagine what he would do to you. That would make me scared. That's what I'm saying.
A one-up on his opponents. By responding with consistent excellence, he built up an intimidating reputation that he's one that should never be challenged ever. And that's where the fear comes in. If you're someone who thinks you're familiar with Micael Jordan's career, then consider this. When was a time where someone challenged Jordan and MJ did not get the last laugh? I promise that you can't name many, if any. If Jordan didn't get the last laugh in half of the examples that I mentioned, then everything changes. As the saying goes, if you can make God bleed, then people will cease to believe in him. Now, I'm not trying to equate Jordan to God like Larry Bird once did, but what I'm doing is making the point that someone's perceived fear and reverence only goes as far as their consistent actions. Back then, angering
That's a great point.
Jordan meant that you were responsible for your team losing. It meant that you were getting destroyed defensively, and maybe the person backing you up is now seeing an opportunity to take some of your minutes. Angering Jordan meant that you were likely to be embarrassed in front of thousands, if not millions of people. That is fear-inducing for an NBA player. The fear was not that MJ would crush you physically, but it's that he would crush you mentally. But don't just take it from me.
Like, look at this video again. Yes, his playing ability was enough to strike fear into you. But look at what I'll just make it silent for a minute. But look at what this guy is doing here right now, doing training. Look at the way he's looking at his own teammate. Like, probably did something. He's probably messing around. Jordan just called him quickly, and look at the way he's, bro. That's the way, like, one of your uncles looks at you when you mess around, like when you go over to his house or when you go over to a party. This guy, just look at his face. Of course, that's gonna scare the other players in the other team. Just his focus, his discipline. This is why you look at a guy and he looks at you like this. When he calls you like that, as if you're a dog. Like, that's enough to strike fear into me. Not saying that the other stuff isn't true. Of course, going up against a player that can drop 50 points on your team on any given night is scary enough. But stuff like this, the way his whole demeanor, the way he would just interact with people and just make them feel scared, that's what would definitely scare me if I was a player.
Don't just take it from me, take it from these NBA legends, who learned this lesson the hard way and decided that they would never trash talk Jordan ever again, due to their fear of the consequences.
Did you ever do it again? Never to Micael Jordan. Well, obviously, I didn't say much to MJ the rest of the night.
That's right.
He make a shot. You see this shot, Mike? You know, you don't talk trash to him so he can go off for 60. You know.
But anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching to the end. You're much appreciated. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, share. Do all those things to please help me grow this channel. And I'll see you guys soon.